Hi there. Today is National Coming Out Day, and I think it's important that I finally share my story with everyone about how I came out. So that's what I'm going to do. It's a painful, emotional journey, but I feel like it's one that needs to be told. So this is my coming out story. I grew up in Southwest Virginia, Lee County, a very rural, very conservative place, very religious. Everybody knows everyone. Small town. And those kinds of places aren't very receptive to a person like me and other people like me. Anyone who's different is just looked upon as an outcast, as some bad word that you probably don't want to even think about. When I was 11 years old, I first started to realize that I wasn't attracted to girls. I looked at boys and just felt like that's what I was curious about. But growing up in a Christian household, you're taught that those sorts of things are immoral, they're a sin, and it's not okay. And I had no choice but to repress the feelings that you were afraid of being just made fun of. And being an overweight kid that I was all throughout being in school, you're already on the verge of being an outcast and made fun of. I was fat, I was nerdy, I was definitely prime material for being picked on a bit. And I was, to a certain point, and I came out okay in the end from that. When I got to high school, having these feelings, being attracted to guys, just became really more of a problem for me, because I'm lucky I didn't really have any harm done to me, because when I was in gym class in the locker room, my eyes would tend to wander a little too much and try to sneak a peek or something like that. And I got made fun of for that, because people did notice that I did do that. And I was doing nothing but exploring my curiosity, and I learned very quickly that it was not the time and not the place for it. And it's sad that you have to feel like that, but that's how I felt. It really became tough for me. When I was 16 years old, I would remember lying in bed at night, just wanting these feelings to go away, because I knew that I was in a society that didn't like them, that just wouldn't like me for who I was. It's really tough. It was really, really tough. No one knew at that time of who I really was. I think some people did know. And sorry. It was really, there were two versions of me. The version of that everyone saw, I did smile a lot. I did make a lot of bad jokes. I did have some good friends in high school. But there was another side to me, one that was hurt and crying and has a lot of pain on the inside that a lot of people did not see. And there'd be days I would sit in class, and I would sit in the library at school, and I would start crying uncontrollably. It was just so awful. And someone would walk up to me and say, "Nick, what's wrong?" I couldn't tell them what was wrong, because I didn't know what was wrong. I was just weeping, and it was just turned on like a water faucet, and you could not shut it off. Depression is real, folks. Depression is real. It's a real problem, and I had it for a time. I was depressed. And fortunately, I never had to seek medical help. It's not to underplay how depression is just real. And fortunately, I found the courage to go on. I just straightened up and just felt more confident in myself. I'll never forget at my high school graduation that some people actually did cheer when my name was called. I don't know how to feel about that, but I did have some good experiences in high school. I was in the marching band, I was in the French club, I did some other various activities, and some people really did genuinely care about me. However, I don't want to go back, and I'll tell you why. In 2008, I went to the 10-year class reunion, and someone pulled me aside and asked, how could you turn out this way? What did we do to make you this way? And I just remember being absolutely gobsmacked at that statement. Like someone could actually believe that they could turn you gay? Absolutely not. I'm sure that most people, most sensible people would realize that that just is so highly illogical. I just have a few people I care about from where I went to school with, but I don't ever see myself going to that class reunion ever again. And right now, this year, it's been 20 years since I graduated high school, 1997. And I absolutely feel no connection whatsoever to anything there. I moved away. I'm living not far away, but a good bit away. And I don't feel any connection whatsoever to where I grew up. And quite frankly, I don't mind. I don't mind it. When I was 19, I was in college, my first go at college, and I was just sitting around one day and I completely lost it. I was crying, and a friend come up and put his arm around my shoulder, and it was a perfect opportunity to finally admit to myself who I really was, and I couldn't do it. I still was afraid. 6 months later, I was 20. I looked myself in the mirror one day at home and finally admitted to myself that I was gay, and I felt a huge weight lifted off my shoulders at that time. It was a big turning point in my life that I've finally come to terms, and I'm going to be who I am, and I'm going to explore this side of me. I was very confident about that, but I was still afraid to tell anyone. I had my first boyfriend around this time. Well, if you want to call him a boyfriend. That's a story for another day. But about a year or so later, I was at work at a movie theater that I worked at, and a coworker of mine, Brian, we were sitting and talking about relationships, and I finally got some courage and just told Brian that I was gay. And he's the first person I ever came out to. And he was so supportive. He comforted me. He let me know that everything was okay, and he was proud of me. And Brian, I know you're watching this. You don't know how much that meant to me. It really meant a lot. Thank you. And he's been a close friend and ally of mine for all these years since I came out to him. I came out to my sister Naomi sometime later, and she has always been very supportive of me over the years. I really didn't come out to anyone else in my family, and I really should have, now that I look back on it. I really should have told them myself. I just kind of found out over the years. And I'm not 100% sure that my family approves of me and who I am. But I know they still love me, and I know I still love them. And if anyone in my family is watching this, nothing will ever change. I still love you. I hope you still love me and accept me for who I am. So in 2005, after a few relationships, I eventually found Greg. And my life has been just absolutely awesome ever since. So the point of this story is to let you know, if you're watching this and you're exploring your feelings, just know that you are perfect the way you are. I love you. Greg loves you. We all love you. And there's nothing wrong with you. And never let anyone tell you any different. Because I had to go through a lot of pain when I was figuring out who I was. And eventually I did. It took a while, but I got there. And it may take a while for you too. But know that it gets better. And there are lots of ways that you can have help, you can have guidance. You can send me a message, send me and Greg a message. We're here for you. Send someone a message, talk to someone you trust. There are lots of resources you can tap into. And I'll leave some links in the description to help guide you in this journey that you're going on. But know that you're not alone. You're not alone. We're all here for you. We all love you. We all support you. And I turned out great. And you will be okay, and you'll turn out great too. This is, and quite honestly, this is the 6th time I've recorded this video. And this feels like the perfect time to talk about it, because it's important. It's important that you know, and we all know, that we love each other. We love you. I love you. I love every one of you out there that are watching this video. And thanks for listening to my story. It's part of who I am. It's part of the fabric of me. Thanks for watching. We'll see you soon. Love you.